around there a little bit, and then maybe they might branch out to a music section or something like that. Cafe areas were very popular. A lot of people sitting around kind of reading the books or magazines before they purchase them, and maybe drinking a coffee or something like that as well. So, you know, comparing the Borders with the RIT Barnes & Noble, there was a lot more purchases made at the Borders, obviously. But comparing with the Pittsburgh Barnes & Nobles, it was a very equal amount of purchasing going on, so.
Okay. For strategies and tactics, there's a few things that I'm going to talk about here, but a main point that I want to make about both stores is that I feel like the main strategy and just a feeling that you get when you're in the bookstores in general is that they want you to stay there. I don't know, I just got that feeling where they make it comfortable to drink your coffee, to read the newspaper, to do your studying. And I think the biggest reason for that is because the longer you're there, the longer they have to influence you. Especially at the RIT Barnes & Noble, where as students, the longer you hang around, the more, even if you're not there to make a book purchase, you might be making a coffee purchase or another coffee purchase or things like that. Some of the things that led into this were the music and lighting. I want to talk a little bit about the music in Borders was very loud. I found it almost obnoxious compared to Barnes & Noble, where I would stay there sometimes after observing to do a little bit of homework or to just drink coffee, read, and it was overpowering my ability to think. And so I found that as a strategy, something that Barnes & Noble definitely hit on better. And the lighting, there was no real variance throughout the store. It was bright fluorescent lighting in both stores. And I found in the coffee shops, in the back, in the front, the lighting was very even. There wasn't really a spot that was darker and it's kept bright on purpose, I think, because there's so many different types of customers. So they want to make sure that you're comfortable. Also, the point of purchase in Borders, the bookstores are really big on the point of purchase, I noticed. When you get up to the registers or right in the front, there's so many things to look at. There's little books, calendars, bookmarks, pens, anything you could think of that might go along with the book. Borders had a lot of it still, but there was less than Barnes & Noble. And the clearance section was a strategy that they used also. In Borders, they used it more as an attraction, I think. It was there when you walked in and you walked around the corner from the registers. It was right there, and it was like the clearance section, and there were some used books, things like that. In Barnes & Noble, the music was quiet and really almost unnoticeable. I couldn't even tell the songs that were being played unless I really tried to listen to it instead. So for studying, especially for the RIT campus, I feel like that's a lot better strategy. The lighting was the same, bright, constant throughout the store. The point of purchase in Barnes & Noble, there were a lot of fun things there. There was your usual books, pens, bookmarks, but there was also a lot of little books where they want you to pick them up and read when you're in line. There's a line to the registers, and it's just a line with little things that you can pick up and read and notice. And the clearance section in Barnes & Noble tended to be more towards the back as a strategy. They didn't want you to be attracted to it, I don't think, and also you had to search for it more, so you had to go through the store to find it, which I think is a strategy where they want you to see what's full price first. Also for the strategies and tactics, this was the same across both stores. They really touched on the seasonal things. When we first started doing that, all the Christmas things were on sale, Valentine's Day, there was sections throughout. And now wedding season, cooking, grilling, all those types of things are really an emphasis when you come to the store.
Questions?
Do you do any price comparisons, $1 to the same exact book in both stores, and do you know which store was cheapest?
With that I noticed they're about the same, but different stores have different promotional. I know Barnes & Noble, if you're a frequent member, you're going to get 15% off your next purchase, and they also have punch cards at Borders too. But other than that, they were both the same unless you had a discounted price.
Okay.
And I know Barnes and Nobles had a little promotion going on, like if you buy, three, I can't remember which book it was, but three of some kind of book, you get the fourth free. Barnes and Nobles had a lot more promotions going on than Borders actually did. Borders usually have promotions around like either holidays or like certain events that they're doing, I guess.
As far as the comfortable atmosphere, so I know the Barnes and Noble back in my hometown have actually a coffee shop in there. Did you see that in either of these?
There is a coffee shop in both of them. There's a Starbucks in all of the Barnes and Nobles that we observed. And in Borders, they have what's called Seattle Fest in most of them, which is, I'm not sure if it's like their generic brand or if it's common somewhere else, but they are in all the stores. There's a coffee shop in every one of them.
I didn't hear you guys talk about it, the e-readers and all. I know Barnes and Noble has their Nook. Is Borders, do they have anything to compete with that?
Yeah, Borders has Kindle, which is pretty much the same as the Nook. That hooks up to Amazon as well. But it's the exact same thing. I know my mom has a Nook, and I used the Kindle when I was at Borders, and it has the same thing. It has music. You can buy books online, but the Nook does it through Barnes and Noble. The Kindle does it through Amazon.
I think my brother emailed me the other day with a picture, and I'm guessing it was maybe a Borders that was closing or something, but it was definitely a bookstore. And it had on the front door, it said something like, our, customer restrooms are currently unavailable. Maybe you should try Amazon or something like that. And so I was curious what your thoughts are in terms of competition from, retailers and just this Amazon being out there. Do you think like having the cafe and having the Wi-Fi and having the other atmosphere, the experience, pulling people into these bookstores is going to be enough to keep them alive, just competing against Amazon? Some of those other,
Barnes and Noble, yes, because I feel like along with families, Barnes and Noble definitely portray like a more collegiate atmosphere, especially since like when I observed, like, I have a lot of friends at RIT, and when I observed, there was definitely like a lot of lounging and studying and like different types of groups just around the place. Whereas like Borders kind of lacks in that atmosphere. Like they just like when I observed there, they have like sporadic chairs like around the store. Like they don't really they want to push you towards just making a purchase. Like they didn't want you to really relax. But one thing I did like about Borders was like the one day I did observe, one time I did observe over there. I was like sitting down and reading, this lady came out of nowhere with like samples of tea and banana bread. So that was like a plus.
Another thing to add in your question, I think right now they have no need to worry like with competition with Amazon, but as our generation does get older, I mean, my parents, they like having like a book in their hand to read, to know it, to read the back cover before buying anything. With our generation, I think we're more spontaneous, and we are technology like advanced, so maybe probably in 10, 15 years they will have trouble.
I think that Barnes and Noble, especially, one of the reasons that they're more successful, like you were saying, is that they're really selling an experience, and you can't really get that from your laptop on your chair at home. And I think that's a big reason why they're staying so long. I mean, when we were observing, I made purchases that I don't usually go to bookstores, but I would find things while I was in there because I was spending 2 hours at a time in there just feeling so relaxed, and I would buy things because of it. So I think if they really focus on like the feeling of the store, that they're really kind of getting more towards that coffee shop feels, like making coffee at home or going and sitting at Starbucks. It's just better to sit at Starbucks. So I think.
But isn't Barnes and Noble like up for sale? I heard they do that to try to not go out of business. I heard they were really